We had a massive rainstorm, like 4 inches of rain that came all at once. The creek had risen and washed out the road. Sorry about the wind. And then the flood came down through my wood yard and it's destroyed me, guys. I am in bad shape. All of my wood's been washed out into my wood yard. All my wood's floated away. All these pallets. It was just a big rush of water, and look what it's done to me. It tried to rip right through my gates. The chain held. And I have a lot of work to do. Oh my gosh. I am filming this as I am seeing it, guys and gals, and this is overwhelming. This is hundreds and hundreds of dollars of labor and effort from all my stacks, and all this wood had just floated. It tried to work its way through the gate. Pallets had floated with wood on top of them. I'm climbing up on top of the wall here to get in. And all of this wood, I'm sorry about the wind. We're gonna have to deal with this wind here. I'm walking on top of my stacked firewood. At least this isn't muddy. I can get this wood off the ground and get it stacked again. These were the logs from this pile. They got washed away. Look at this mess. What am I going to do? Oh my gosh. Oh my. Oh my gosh, look at this. These are the runners that were right here facing the opposite direction, and it got washed all the way around in a circle with logs on top of them. So those two runners were laying here and here. This pallet, this is oak, guys, and this pallet floated from all the way oh my gosh. That pallet was laying right here. So it floated all the way to there with oak on top of it. That must have been some serious water that came through here. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? This is the wood going next to the restaurant, so at least my next load of season wood is still here. All these pallets have been washed away, and I'm worried about the bird. Oh, she's still there. Her nest is just teetering, however. There she is. Okay. Well, the bird's nest is still there, but there was some damage beneath it. Oh my, look at all. This was all the wood that I had just stacked. It's been washed away. The creek is down here, so the water came rushing behind me. Here's a pallet of, this is, oh wow, this is the hickory. That hickory was laying right here. And then all my ant logs are gone. They got washed, so this must be all of them down here. I'll have to cancel that hickory delivery. Yeah, here's a piece of hickory. Oh boy. So when this wall was built, because of the way the water rolls, we had left a gap right there so the water could get out and go down to the creek. And you can see where the water was bringing everything this way. So this is a disaster. and you're watching this real time with me. When I first pulled in the parking lot, I thought it was vandalism. You know, someone just came in here and just started knocking wood around. But clearly it's not. Everywhere I'm standing right now is covered in mud. So there was just a lot of water came rushing through here. Guys, you should have seen the way it rained yesterday. We have a weather station across the lake in Bristol, and they had 4 inches of rain. It just poured and poured and poured. And my video was supposed to be about the International Firewood Expo and talking about all the cool things that we have going on. And I was cleaning up this place because I'm trying to make it look nice, because I figured people would be stopping here to look at it. And here it is. There's my wife pulling in now. So I got to get this cleaned up as best as I can. I still have to operate. I still am a firewood delivery service first, and I got to get this wood cleaned up. What am I going to do? Okay, guys, let me go talk to my wife, and then I'll come back here in a couple minutes. I have called a couple friends, some family. My high school help is here, so the first goal is we got to get the gate dug out. There's so much pressure up against it, you can't get the chain loose, and those gates are bent too. So we first have to get into this place and then just figure out a way to salvage this inventory, because it is inventory. It's my livelihood. It's what I do. And oh, good heavens. All of these pallets, guys, up in here came from down here. So this water was just, oh boy. Yeah, so all of these, look at the water moved these logs were laying here, moved them to there. All these pallets are from Oakland. All of these pallets, they all came from behind, or they all came into behind the machine here. And then the parking lot got washed away. There's damage to the road down here. Oh my gosh. Well, times like this makes me think of my parents. And I can hear my dad right now saying, you got 2 choices, Joe. You can complain about it, or you can do something about it. This is not part of the plan. I'm still dealing with the International Firewood Expo stuff going on, but I can't operate right now. I can't get wood delivered. I got to get at least the gate cleared out and get some of this moved around. Okay, guys, when I signed up for YouTube, I said I'm going to show a day in the life of a firewood delivery service, and I guess I'll show you the good days and the bad days. Okay, here's an update. I got some help. We are moving and picking. We've made a dent into the mess, but my problem is the water came up that high, about 1.5 feet, and that is all mud down through here. And you know, when you take pride in your firewood, my wood's never touched the ground, and now we got a bunch of my wood, even the stuff that hasn't fallen on the ground, it's underwater and it's covered in mud. And that affects, you know, restaurants don't want muddy wood. So we are throwing wood into the trailer. That's my big help right there. We're throwing wood into the trailer, and we are getting it stacked as much as we can. We're just trying to restore some order so that I can get in here and get stuff moved around. And the food is here, so we're feeding everyone as well. Moving right along, we had a number of people show up and help. We had Jessica from Jefferson and her husband Kevin, who we all know from the Bionic Life. Thank you. And Mark and his daughters, and a couple mystery people from Parts Unknown. And we got Dave from Kinsman. Dave, thank you for coming out.
You're welcome.
And you're a familiar face. You've been around before.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of the International Firewood Expos.
There you go.
Looking forward to this weekend.
I hope you're coming to the next one then.
Yeah, me and the wife will be there.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming down. You know, I always say I couldn't be doing what I am right now without the help of the Woodhounds, but yeah. What the heck, you certainly mean that to me. All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
What the heck, guys? Many hands make light work. This mess is almost cleaned up thanks to guys like Dave from Kinsman.
Oh.
And the mystery man here from Parts Unknown, and our good friend Mark from right up the road. How you doing, bud?
All right.
What the heck?
Beautiful Ohio weather.
Gee whiz. Have you seen it rain like that in a while?
Oh, and it's been a couple of years since we've had anything like this.
What the heck? And then I can't believe you saw the upper end, how it pushed all that wood all the way uphill.
Yeah. There's a lot of water come down. I think they said right around, what, 3.5 inches?
Yeah. You are also helping me out at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
You're going to be one of the wood hounds and running the wood bank with Dale?
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured Dale would be here. We're waiting on you, Dale.
Yeah, where's Dale at?
A lot of work for you to do, bud.
Yeah, all right. All right, well, Mark, thanks so much for coming out and helping me.
No problem, bud.
All right, bud. I'm going to stay out. I'm going to go back to my lawn chair, and I'll be sitting over here, staying out of everyone's way. All right. Kevin from the Bionic Life. What are you doing to the world's greatest chainsaw, the Dolmar 7900?
Well, I'm draining the non-lifeblood from it. And we will drain the lifeblood eventually, but the fuel we haven't touched, we're getting water out of the cylinder and the crankcase. And I think I've rotated a few times, and I think there's some water stored in the piston below the skirt.
Yeah.
It's upside down, so I'll rotate it. But it's coming out pretty dry now. I've rotated it several times.
So the Dolmar was underwater from the flood, unfortunately.
It was.
But the Husqvarna has taken more water in than the Dolmar, huh?
Well, I don't know. It almost seems like it's hooked up to a city water line, Joe.
Oh my gosh.
It has water.
Oh,
I don't know. Let's try it. I'll see
Okay.
what happens here. I've had it sitting for a minute.
This was my first real chainsaw. This, oh look, it still has water coming out of it.
Yeah, you know. Oh, that's not bad.
Okay.
Not bad.
I smell gas.
It is. Yeah, I think the vent's leaking.
Okay.
So this probably has water in the tank. I would almost bet on it.
Yeah, let's dump all of this,
Yeah.
and then we'll have to start all over again, huh?
Yeah.
All right, well, Kevin, I'm looking over your shoulder at this mess that just, and this is uphill from the creek, and it got pushed all this way. All of those pallets and logs came from down there.
Yeah, it's insane, and he's been stacking a bunch of wood.
Yeah,
underneath
I
his
got,
live
what
deck.
the heck am I doing this for? I'm stacking wood under the live deck. Okay. All right, well, Kevin, thanks so much for your help.
Yeah.
I could not have done any of this without you guys.
You guys have made a dent in the wood.
Gee whiz.
You guys have
What
done-
the heck? I was getting ready to just go out of business when I got here this morning. It was quite overwhelming.
I can imagine.
And then the next thing I know, I turn around, it's almost all cleaned up.
That's awesome.
All right, well, thanks, Kevin. I'm going to get out of your way. I'm going to go back to my lawn chair and sit down.
Yeah, hey, hold that chair down.
Look how it's been cleaned up compared to where we started. I still got all this mess up here, but the bottom line is I feel like I can now operate as a world-class firewood delivery service. But I got a lot of wood that's been wasted. I can't sell this wood as value-added firewood because it's covered in mud. So I'll have to come up with a plan, and we'll have to see what we can do to get this cleaned up. All right, here we go. Yeah, we're gonna have to stretch it out towards us. All right, so we got a number of people. The one mystery man had just left, and I've had to change because I just got a mess. But we have Dave, Dave from Kinsman. What the heck? You just show up here and jump right into the middle of all this. Mark, I call you, and I says, I am out of business, and I'm selling everything. And he says, no,
Always
you're
for a
not.
good deal.
He says, no, you're not. I'm coming down.
Yep.
So these guys were here. The mystery man who had just left. We had the two miners that are here that we don't want to put on the video. And of course, Kevin and his wife, they're fixing the chainsaw over there. I cannot believe that we got this mess cleaned up. Gee whiz. And then the damage because we're uphill from the creek,
Yeah.
and everything got pushed that way.
Yeah, walked over in the far corner where if they came to your expo last year,
Where the
over by
porta
where the porta
potties
potties were. You actually had wood all the way over there.
That is probably a quarter mile from here, is how far away that is. Yeah. All right, well, thanks so much, guys. I wouldn't be able to do this without you, so thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and then you never know, guys. This might just put you into the running for Employee of the Month.
I don't know. We got some hard competition.
All right, well, thanks, guys. All right. Oh, wait. Have a good day.
Have a good day.
And we got the majority of this mess cleaned up. Look what these guys and gals did. And Mark and his 2 daughters were here, and they worked, man. You know, this stuff, you think we just stacked this neatly, and we didn't. This is the flood pushed all these logs here. And I'm not joking. I know where these logs were, and they were all the way down there. That water pushed them up and around and pushed them all into here. So this is still a mess that we got to deal with. But where I was a few minutes on this video, where I was a few minutes ago in despair, and through the generosity and the giving nature of a lot of people in and around the Woodhound community, you know, you saw this, you couldn't walk through here. But I am going to experience a loss though, because you can see the watermark. That's how deep the water was. And all of that wood on the lower end is just mud. And we sell value added firewood, and we can't sell muddy wood to these restaurants. You know, here you can see the water line. Yeah, so we have a lot of wood that looks like this. And the stuff that was really bad, we had brought down to this lower end. Here you go, more. See the water line? That's all mud. What a mess. And that's just, you know, I see this as a loss. And I think we need to do a video on running a business and insuring your business, because I couldn't get my product, my inventory insured. Well, here you go. I get very annoyed with the way people regard firewood as like this low-end commodity, because it is not. I mean, this is, if these were ham sandwiches that got destroyed in a flood, they would have been insured. But firewood, I guess I'm on my own, you know? But all this wood, it's all mud, and it's just crusty, you know, and this is the stuff you can't sell for value-added firewood. And man, these guys and gals that came here just worked and saved me. I was in I was in despair this morning when I first got here, and now I'm able to operate. I couldn't even get my gates open this morning. And let's hear it for Mama Killdeer. She put her nest right here, and she has been guarding it. I don't know what happened, but none of those eggs, they are all still here, and she's sitting on top of them. And she's very protective of that nest, but they didn't float away. They're still there, because this was definitely, I mean, this is all mud down here. This used to be gravel, and it's just covered in mud. Okay, I am still not done. I got to clear out that container. Everything in that container that was on the ground is soaked. All those cardboard boxes. I had a lot of giveaways in there that are all mess. So that is going to be our next task. I'm going to go home, get dinner, and then come back. We got to clear out that container before it starts to smell. Okay, where would we be without friends though, huh? And family. Holy cow. All right, guys. Everyone have a great day.